welcome to Ikate's Crossing as we continue looking at the hashtags that I wanted to catch up on. Okay, so this is Standout Decks 2022 by Peekaboo Rose, by Julie at Peekaboo Rose. Now, I capped myself at about 13 decks. Okay, I just had to sort of really think about, because I've really loved all the decks that have come through this year. I think I've been quite selective of what I've ordered and what's come through and very much in things. But let's have a look at some of the decks that I'm constantly grabbing, even for myself, to do readings. Now, I do want to start with the Elder Stories Tarot by Hand Me That Pencil. Now, I've got most of her decks and expansion packs and things like that, but not all, but I've got most of her decks. So this deck here, Elder Stories Tarot, I really think Justine really captured the essence of the crone, the elders, both masculine and feminine energies, the youthful energies of the elders as well. You know, the fun aspects of them as well as the seriousness. This deck has a lot in it, and I absolutely love the journey. Now, with Justine, when you buy a deck from her, you automatically get the link so that you can download the guidebook yourself, and then what you do with it is totally up to you. So whether you get that printed or whatever, but it's always there. So love the Elder Stories Tarot. I love the Māori aspect here with the wands, the King and Queen of Wands. So absolutely love this deck. I really feel like there's a lot in the imagery. There's a lot in the story. To me, this deck really stands out huge. It's a deck that I constantly grab if I want to do a reading for myself, whether I want to sort of do a quick reading or dive deep into it. It gives me that option to just do like the basic meanings of the cards, or let myself sit with the deck for a while, sit with the cards for a while, and really sort of dive into the imagery if I want to. I really feel like this was one of the standout decks for 2022. This is I think this is my number one. I absolutely love it. It's a deck that arrived this year, created it, it was absolutely, I love it. Like I said, any of Justine's decks are amazing, and this one in particular, I did Edge. It does come with that back, of course, but yeah. So that was, to me, a really standout deck. Okay, another deck that was that I got this year, which has really stood out for me, is the Moon and Stars Tarot. The reason why is because of the way that the guidebook's done. It does give you quite a little something to sort of think about, reflect on, meditate on. And so when I'm doing a reading for myself, I do find that I'm diving into the guidebook a little bit to get that message, to get that meditation or that something that I can reflect on quite deeply. So it does give me that moment to really sort of take a breath, to breathe. And so I just love the colours in it. I know it's a pip deck. I love the keywords that she uses. So it really gives you something to sort of reflect on, meditate on. So this for me was a real standout deck as well. I love it, absolutely. I mean, I love Jane's decks anyway, but I did find this one here really with the astrological aspects as well, that she sort of includes a little bit in the deck. I think there's quite a lot in it, and so I felt like this was a really standout deck for me for 2022 that arrived. Now, these are decks that arrived in my collection. Okay, so another deck that really stood out for me that I find that I keep getting drawn to use is the Hocus Pocus. Now, I know it's an insight deck, and again, it's that sense of it's a story, it's a movie, they reimagined it, I mean, into the cards. And I know it's a pip deck and things like that, but it's another one that really sort of stood out for me in regards to, I don't know, just, I really found, I love the images. For me personally, I love just going through the cards, slowly flicking through them, having a look, spending a little bit of time with the character of the card. I don't know, just something about it was a real sort of standout deck for me. Now, I know not everyone's going to agree and not everyone's going to love it, but for me, it's a deck that I keep grabbing. I grab quite a lot. Again, it's one that I sort of sit and read with for myself. Okay, now, put that away as I go. Now, you notice I'm putting them back in their boxes as we go. Now, of course, there's the Lord of the Rings. Now, this stood out for me. Of course, it's that I watched the movies. I want to spend a bit of time with working through the guidebook. So I've sort of started to write them out for me personally. I know, again, it's pips. But again, it gives me time to sort of sit and work with the characters. Again, I want to go through it and do it again, but I just want to, I sort of have spent some time with the major arcana and sort of started to sort of dive into the minors and really sort of connect with the, you know, I love the movies. So, yeah, I don't know, just really sort of stood out for me. It was something that really grabbed my attention. I really want to spend some more time with it. Again, I edged it. You see that I edge all my decks when I can. So, I'm still going to work through the guidebook a little bit. So, I love these decks. I know they're pips, and I know not everyone likes them, but I love them. Absolutely adore them. Okay, now, of course, we've got Alice in Wonderland. Again, this will keep coming up for me in many aspects through. Again, it's that childhood. It really sort of stood out for me. Really sort of spoke to me. Really sort of stood out. And it's a deck that I keep getting pulled to use quite a bit. Even when I'm doing readings for other people, I will pull it out quite a bit. I do find these insight decks, I do sort of keep pulling out and using for my lives. I don't know why, I get drawn to use them. I love them. Okay. Now, another deck. Oh my god, it was a real standout for me. It was a gift given to me. The Four Huxa Tarot was given to me as a gift. Definitely a deck that stood out really strongly for me in regard to the stories. The guidebook's really cool. I think there's a lot in the cards. Again, it's about spending time with them, really sort of connecting with the imagery. Just love it. You just feel like there's just so much going on. You know, if you've got the time. It's not so good when you're doing quick readings with the lives and things like that, but if you're actually having to spend time with the reading, especially for myself, or I'm doing a face-to-face reading and I've got a bit of time, or I'm doing a longer reading for a client, you know, we don't have to rush so much. Definitely feels like there's a lot going on in these cards, and they really are sort of a stood out deck for me. I think any of her decks, any of MJ's decks are beautiful, and I mean the artworks are stunning. So I think any of her decks are a standout in the collection. Right, so I know this has been around for a while. But I finally brought it into my collection through Game Crafter, of course, and Roxy Sim. So Roxy's deck, Pearls of Wisdom, and I know this was a real sort of standout deck for me. It's something that I've been waiting for a long time for, and I finally got around to doing it. Very busy cards. I know there's larger sizes available, but I just wanted a pocket size, a deck that I could carry with me on the go, a deck that's easy, can fit in the screen when doing lives. There's a lot in it, a lot in the images, a lot in the story, and this was a real standout image-wide for me coming into my collection. Again, sometimes I like decks that are really simple and to the point, like the pip decks, and then I like decks that are quite busy. So my tastes are quite varied, as you can see there. Okay, so now, oh, I nearly forgot two other decks that I really love, and this is the new Mythic Tarot. Absolutely, this has been a real stand. I know this has been around for a long time again, but I sort of finally got round to sort of working through it, doing over the months, previous months, November, December, and going through and actually getting to know this deck on a deeper level, getting to know the stories, the legends, the myths, the connections between the cards, and really sort of seeing how this deck actually worked. And I actually found this an amazing deck, totally found with the Greek mythology, the Greek teachings, the Greek stories, the deities, the whole aspect of this deck was really well done, well thought out, well put together. I really think this is a real classic deck. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Again, edged it in purple. So yeah, absolutely love this deck. Okay, one of the decks that I think really stood out for me was the Siddhartha Tarot. Now, I didn't get this until recently, and so I haven't really worked with it with its full potential, but the colours, I love the colours. So I really felt like that really stood out for me with the colours. Again, the little white book is absolutely essential. I think you need, maybe it'd be quite good if there was a little bit more information, but you can do your research, you can do a little bit more. I do want to dive into this a little bit more, but it really stood out for me in regards to what I did. And yeah, absolutely love the Siddhartha Tarot. So I love the colours. That's what I think stood out for me. The colours, the style. I mean, I looked at other decks, other Buddha type tarot, Siddhartha type tarot decks, and this is the one that really stood out for me. It's funny, some of these are, there's maybe other, other decks that are in the same sort of theme, and yet you find a deck that sort of really speaks volumes to you. Okay, now I've got a couple of oracle decks as well that really stood out for me this as well. So let's start with the Dark Mirror. Now this I use with the Supernatural Tarot. I finally got round to getting a deck that I felt really spoke well with it. Now I love this Dark Mirror. It's so different and so unique. It's not a traditional tarot deck. It's a message really gets you to think deeply about your shadow aspects, and so I love it. I love that message that the one card will give you to be able to sort of really dive deep within oneself. So I find it really balances well with the Supernatural Tarot. I can do messages that are quite quick, and then this just gives it that little bit of extra depth to it. So I love that. Just gives me that little extra to the reading. I love the images. I love the messages. I love that it works with the moon phases. There's so much. Does the stages of grief, or and I just think it's really, really well done. So yeah, this is an excellent deck, the Dark Mirror. I love it. Absolutely stood out for me this year, and it's one that I find I use all the time for readings and things like that. It really sort of gives me something different. Okay, another deck was the Embroidered Graveyard. I think it was put together. This really stood out for me. The spells, the guidebook, absolutely beautiful. The work involved from the creator, absolutely beautiful. I mean, so much work involved with the embroideries that she did with each one. Still diving into it, still just developing within this deck, but for me it really stood out in regards to, so it really ticked the shiny box, the shadow aspects, the spell work. It really does connecting with spirit. It really gave so much information. These cards are beautifully done. The guidebook's beautiful. The box that came in is gorgeous. The pouch that came with it. So to me, this really stood out. Really ticked the boxes on so many levels. Love the messages. Love the way it's done, was produced. The creator was fantastic with Kickstarter. Absolutely beautifully done. So, okay, now the last oracle I've got is the Gita deck. Now this totally stood out for me for 2022. I know it may have been around for a little bit longer than that, but of course it just came into my collection this year, and so this is what really stood out for me. The simplicity of the messages, and then you can go in a little bit deeper by reading the chapter of the which my son just gave me for Christmas, the Bhagavad Gita. So definitely, I mean, you can explore this a lot more when you look at the cards and then read the chapter and the verse. You can really sort of dive into it, into quite a bit. So that really sort of stood out for me for 2022. Right. So that's your tarot and oracle. Now I have one more, so that's the card that I've been reflecting on. Right, the last thing that really stood out for me for this year that I purchased, there was actually two. I was not going to cap it at 13, right? But it was actually two linen mugs, but I decided to use I think La Santa Muerte linen mug as my standout, because I've got Santa Muerte tarot and oracle, so the linen mug was just the perfect fit for it to make an overall picture of the deck. Love it, absolutely love it. So yeah, Santa Muerte linen mug as well. That's my last one. Okay, so that was the standout decks for 2022. The other ones that I find myself sort of drawn to quite a bit to look at, to just when I'm on my own and I'm not doing anything in particular, if I just pick up a deck, these are sort of some of the ones that I sort of pick up to have a look at, dive into, and do a reading for myself or shuffle, or so that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.